Hi, my name is Gemma Luire Miranda Torres, and today I'm going to talk about my experiment, measuring the specific power generated by different layers of propellers in an air generator. Well, talking about the justification of my project, it is well known that pollution is a nowadays theme. Well, some of the activities that we carry out have consequences like the generation of greenhouse gas emission and the exploitation of resources. Also, the existence of renewable energies are considered a good part of the new era of how to obtain energy from the nature without damaging it. And that's why I think it's important to work together and also with environmental care alternatives to build an education based on sustainability. Also, the objective of this core activity is the development of a wind generator with recycled materials. And what I'm gonna measure is the voltage and the electric current generated in order to obtain the power generated. In each case, because in each case I will modify the propellers. To better understand my project, it is necessary to know some about theory. Well, in this case, it is the general Watts law. And the general Watts law says that the power consumed by the load is directly proportional to the supplied voltage and the current flowing through it. The formula is power equals to voltage difference times the electric current. In this case, power can be defined as the rate in which energy is transferred. Voltage is the ratio of electric potential energy to electric charge, and the current is the rate at which electric charge flows. While considering the last formula, it is necessary to state our variables. The independent variable will be the mass of the wind generator propellers. This will be by changing the number of layers that make up the propellers in equal numbers. I mean, one layer, two layer, and three layers. The dependent variable will be the power that is generated from modifying the number of layers, and the control variables will be the height of the pedestal on which the generator is held, the speed of the air provided by the external source, the support of the generator, and the base in which the pedestal is placed. Talking about the experiment, the materials that you need are a wooden base, a generator support and pedestal, a generator or dynamo of 6 volts, 3 computer fan propellers, copper wire to hold the dynamo, a multimeter, electric soldering iron, a stable wind source that can be a tire or a fan, one LED, and a wire and base to connect the dynamo with the LED and the multimeter. The best way to build the air generator is to first attach the dynamo to the top of the pedestal. Then you have to use the back of one of the computer fans to align it with the tip of the dynamo and make them fit. After that, solder with help of an electric soldering to connect the tip of a red and a black cable to both ends of the dynamo. After connecting it to the base where the LED is and occupy the tips of the multimeter and match them with the same colors where the wire meets the LED tips. Well, in order to collect the data, what I have to do is first turn on the dryer or the fan. Then after waiting 5 seconds, I have to start taking notes about the voltages and the electric current of the propeller. In this case, I did 5 trials per propeller and I did it with 3 different propellers. So I did 15 trials. And this is what I obtained. Also, the uncertainties were from the device in which I measured my voltages and my electric current. The way I process my data is by doing first the power formula, that is voltages and times current. I multiply them and then I obtain a percentage uncertainty. After that, with all the trials, I average them, and also I have to obtain an uncertainty by obtaining the range of all this data. As a result of this experiment, I was able to find an ascending second-degree polynomial graph. Within what the graph can tell us, we find an error bar of plus minus 11 milliwatts. Despite the uncertainty, we can observe that the results are technically perfect due to the R that is presented equal to 1. Talking about the hypothesis, I find it incorrect because as the mass increases in the rotor propellers, the generated power is increasing. There is no direct proportionality, but the proportionality that exists between the data is quadratic. Also, some changes that I will apply to this project is to change the dynamo to a larger one so that the results are not less than a volt. Also, to generate a good support for the union between the propeller and the dynamo. And talking about modifications that I made is that I removed the LED because of the dynamo. It was 6 volts and it did not allow to fit the LED. And that's all. Thank you.